Police are under more pressure than ever to not only keep the community safe, but to also maintain transparency. Because law enforcement has been at the forefront of some controversial actions, the public wants to know everything they're doing. But stick around until the end to find out why some things are best kept secret. Now, here are 10 secret police gear only the government knows about.
It's not funny.
Drones. Drones, otherwise known as unmanned aircrafts, are used by the general public with some controversy. Drones are equipped with cameras and audio recording technology that give privacy laws a run for their money. It's generally frowned upon when a civilian uses their drone to spy on a neighbor. But is it okay for the police to do the same? Remember that episode of South Park where the neighborhood watch drone was being chased by the police drones? Well, our police have drones too. It's safer for police to be able to monitor a situation without risking their lives on the front line. But then there's always that risk of abuse of privilege and power. With the introduction of drone technology, police and lawyers have been having a heck of a time figuring out what's legal, what's admissible in court, and where we draw the line in terms of privacy. Some believe that if drones are going to be used in police work, then a warrant should be on the table. There are also civil rights organizations that have an issue with this technology. Their compromise is that the images that are being recorded shouldn't be stored. However, if the drone is being used as part of an ongoing investigation, then storing those images should be legal. Armored carriers. As conflict in the Middle East subsides, at least for the United States, there is expensive military equipment that isn't being used. What do we do with them? For example, the use of armored carriers, commonly known as tanks, are usually reserved for the military. However, thanks to the 45th president lifting the ban on military weapons and local police forces, precincts all over the United States are obtaining a tank. Why would they need something like this? The rationale is that given the rising number of riots and dangers out there in the streets, cops would be better adept at handling the bad guys with a tank than with a traditional police car. Since tipping cars and bullet battles can sometimes happen in confrontation, an armored carrier would ensure the safety of the cops. Also, rolling in with a tank does send a statement of sorts that they're not to be messed with. The system certainly isn't perfect, and there are vulnerabilities with tanks as well. You won't see a tank rolling down the street for a routine police stop, but you will most likely see them during riots, public chaos, looting in the streets, and more severe situations. Stingray surveillance. There is another issue that might be more problematic for us all.
Take my photo.
Have you heard of Stingray surveillance? It was apparently enforced during the Obama administration when cops were basically tracking our cell phone activity. This news came to light in 2014. The world found out that local police forces were using a system called International Mobile Subscriber Identity. It basically acted as a cell phone tower that police used to gain access to data from cell phones in entire neighborhoods, and even from your home. Think about it. If you're using your cell phone data to surf the web or even watch TV, the local police could track it down and watch your activity. The crazy thing is that this fake cell phone tower can download all of your call records and texts too. This means that the cops could look at who you've been talking to, when you called them, and how long you were on the phone. In most cases, the police were able to pull this off without a warrant. Grenade launchers. You know what you're probably thinking. Why in the world would police need a grenade launcher? Well, ever since President Trump made it legal for the police to have military-grade weapons, grenade launchers have been quite the hot topic. Not only are the local police thrilled about this, but they want more. A sheriff from Los Angeles named Jim McDonnell claims that his crew actually needs more police gear. It's so that he can put something in between his deputies and the danger that they face. Police have gotten quite a bit of backlash for using grenade launchers. Sometimes they're used to enable flash grenades. However, this has resulted in innocent people getting hurt because they got caught in the crossfire. We suppose that this might be the lesser of the evils here, since grenade launchers can be used to release non-lethal weapons like tear gas. Yet, it says a lot about our world today if the folks in blue need more severe gear to keep themselves and the public safe. Range R. If you've ever slept peacefully at night knowing that the police couldn't see through walls, we have some disappointing news for you. They can. Well, sort of.
We know.
Let us introduce you to the Range R. It actually looks like a stud finder, but instead of finding a stud in your wall, it's being used to find people. It was first used by troops in Afghanistan and Iraq before going over to law enforcement in around 2012. It can detect something as small as someone taking a breath to detecting a person 50 feet away. Technically, it doesn't help the police literally see through walls, but they will be able to tell how many people are inside and what's going on inside a building. Of course, with gear as sensitive as this, there is bound to be some legal gray areas. Police in Wichita used the Range R to determine if a felon lived in a certain house after they had a warrant to take them into custody. Because they were able to successfully determine this and take the felon into custody, lawyers had a battle over the legality of it. Given that the Range R was used without a warrant, it brought to question how the police could use the $6,000 technology without violating privacy laws. Bayonets. This next police gear might seem a bit dated, but it can cause its share of damage if used in the right way. Bayonets are sharp, and they can definitely put a bad guy to rest if used properly. However, given that the police have gotten in trouble for questionable brutality, it seems that giving them bayonets might be a bad idea. Some of the military gear they have received have included bayonets, and people are having a hard time justifying exactly why they need them. What is even more controversial is that it seems that local squadrons are using them for crowd control. In the event that there's chaos in an out-of-control crowd, it seems that a bayonet would do more harm than good if a bystander doesn't notice it. For example, during intense protests, bayonets were used to control the crowd in a non-violent situation. Given that most protesters didn't do anything to indicate that they would incite a riot, it seems that the bayonets were unnecessary. Or were the bayonets the reason why the protesters didn't get more heated? It's almost a game of what came first, the bayonet or the calmness. M16. Many folks fear the militarization of the police department, as it shows signs of impending government control on all facets of life. Folks in the United States are especially weary of their home becoming a police state. One of the most troublesome things that has slowly come to light is the fact that many local police departments are getting their hands on M16s. These babies are the military version of AR-15s. For those who are passionate about gun control laws, you know how much damage an AR-15 can do. So why do the police need M16s? Well, given that their lives are on the line on a daily basis, they might find themselves in a situation where they need to take down a major threat. Yet, the presence of an M16 at any event the police are at can be unsettling, if not downright intimidating. What is even crazier is that the police were able to get their hands on M16s for free, thanks to the lift on the military gear ban. On one hand, people might feel safer with the police owning M16s, but others might feel even more vulnerable and in danger. ShotSpotter. The ShotSpotter was specifically created to help police better deal with gun violence. Considering that the police can't monitor one place 24/7,
Carefully take out your weapon, holding the butt with 2 fingers only.
they need a way to figure out why a shooting happened. ShotSpotter uses audio sensors to help police figure out where and when a shooting took place. It basically collects audio clips. First, the clips are sent to an information center to determine whether or not the sound came from a weapon. Then, that information, with demographics and location, is sent to the local police department so they can investigate. It almost seems like a gift from the gods when it comes to solving crimes. But it does complicate things a little. The audio recording goes on for several seconds after the shots are fired. With this in mind, sometimes the victim's last words are captured. Whoever was present at the time might find themselves accused of taking another life, even if they weren't the one who fired. ShotSpotter's audio samples have been used against people who may or may not have been involved in the incident. ShotSpotter has been used in cities like New York and Oakland in an effort to find patterns in different neighborhoods, as well as to figure out who committed the act. Robots. Before you immediately start thinking about RoboCop, this isn't quite the same thing. We don't have the technology yet to build robot humanoids to do our police work for us.
You need to keep it gangster.
Yeah, keep it gangster.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
But that doesn't mean that local police departments haven't already begun implementing this into their precincts. In Dallas, Texas, police used a Northrop Grumman Romotech Andros robot to take out a guy who ended the lives of 5 police officers. This was actually the first time a robot was used to do something this drastic. After a standoff in a parking garage, they essentially used the robot to deliver an explosive that was used to end the bad guy's life. Of course, many people question the violent use of a robot, but officials saw no other way of handling the situation without jeopardizing more lives. The particular type of robot used is well known in the military community, as well as among first responders. It weighs about 485 pounds and is equipped with sensors and grippers in order to do a thorough job. The robot made worldwide news, as it was the first time this robot was used to end a life within a local police department, at least that we know of.
But at Security Concepts, we believe an efficient police force is only part of the solution.
Radar for texting. Texting and driving is a big no-no, but many still do it. That's because many don't see or experience the consequences of looking down at their phone while going 65 miles an hour or faster. How many of you have tossed your phone to the side while driving if you saw a cop nearby? Well, there is some new technology in the works where they will see you before you see them. There is new radar technology coming out that will not only determine if you're speeding, but it will also tell the cop if you're texting as well. A company in Virginia called ComSonics is currently working on this brand new technology, and it could hit the streets very soon. That means that you should probably put your phone away while you're behind the wheel. But if you think that you can blame the text sending on a passenger, think again. This new technology is going to be paired with Radar R, which means that police will be able to tell which area of the car that text was sent from. While this may be bothersome to texters, it very well might be police gear that ends up saving thousands of lives. Only time will tell.